Poker Tonight is brought to you by UB.net. Raise, stack, own. Welcome back to Poker Tonight, brought to you by UB.net. Joining us now via Skype is Poker Tells expert Joe Navarro. Now, Joe, you've been a popular figure within the poker industry for some time now. For our viewers that maybe aren't aware, tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, for 25 years, I was with the FBI, and I dedicated myself to study human behavior. Basically, I was a spy catcher, and when I retired from the FBI, I wound up on a show with Annie Duke, and she began to talk to people about me, and that's how I got hooked up with poker.
We're very familiar with your work, within the poker industry, and it's obviously very impressive. For the viewers at home, what are some specific common poker tells that they can look for, either at the table playing in a home game or perhaps in a casino even?
Yeah. One of the easiest ones to look for are any kind of hand to face touching. A lot of times you'll see things like the person's rubbing their face or pushing in a finger on the cheek. These are usually indicative of something that's distressful. And one of the things that I always teach is that we look for, in poker, you're basically weak, marginal, or strong. And to deal with the stress of being one of those, or to indicate how strong you are, we demonstrate that through our hands, through our face, and through our bodies.
All right, well, we've got some basics that you just threw out there. Let's go ahead and try to put it into practice. We've got some footage from the WPT LA Poker Classic in 2009 that we've had you take a look at. Now, basically, this particular hand is going to involve Phil Ivey and, in amateur certainly, and Charles Woody Moore. There's a couple spots that sort of jumped out to me. One of them was when Woody sort of took a deep exhale. What does that typically mean in those sort of situations?
Sure. You gotta remember that what we're seeing are his perceptions. And when you see that deep exhale, and then if you notice, he grabs his cheek and pulls on it, that's usually an indicator of someone who's under stress, who maybe is having to make a move or make a decision that they don't really feel strong about, but they're doing it anyway.
And he keeps dealing with the stress. He even stands up. He's breathing hard, as we said, starts to walk around. I mean, those are pretty extreme physical tells. What could that possibly mean?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. We distance ourselves when we're under stress from something. So he gets up, walks away from the table, and you see him, distance himself from that which is causing him distress.
Right. Now let's shift gears a little bit and look over at Phil Ivey.
All in.
Woody announces all in. Ivey freezes. He does a lot of different things. He whistles at one point. Obviously, we sitting at home, we can see that Phil has the worst hand with the ace-9 versus the ace-king. What are some of the things that Phil went through during that point that sort of physically he was telling you?
Yeah, well, one of the things that stood out is Ivey should have noticed that as time progressed, as he was making that decision, that Moore was becoming more and more comfortable to the point where he sat down. At one point, he steepled and so forth, and which is a high indication of comfort. And Ivey should have picked up on that. And then, of course, when the minute you hear Ivey whistle, when we exhale with pursed lips, and whistling is one of the things that we do, it shouts, "I think I'm weak, I think I'm weak."
Well, thank you for that, Joe, and we certainly look forward to more insights into the world of poker tells in coming segments.
Absolutely. It's good talking to you both.
Thanks to the WPT for use of the footage, and a reminder, they premiere new shows each Sunday on FSN. Now let's take a look at a conversation that Dana Workman had with Lacey Jones for our latest Girls of Poker feature.
Thanks, guys. You've seen her as a reporter on Poker2Nite. You may also know her as the woman voted hottest girl in poker on Wicked Chops. This week's guest for our Girls of Poker feature is none other than Lacey Jones.
Hey, Dana.
Hi.
It's great to be here.
It's nice to finally see you on set.
I know. I love it. Looks great.
So, while you're a poker player first, I'm sure some of our audience would like to take a look at some of your modeling work. So, let's take a peek at your hottest girl in poker photo shoot. Okay, that was hot. So how's poker been treating you these days? You've been running good on the tables?
I have been. I've been bubble grower lately, but I've actually been clearing fields like crazy, and I'm ready for some big tournaments and some big wins coming up. So.
Now, what advice would you give to other women who are trying to break into the poker circuit?
Well, I think I find a lot of women are too scared to go to a casino and sit down at a poker table. I think that they shouldn't be afraid of the guys. I think the guys are more intimidated sometimes of a woman sitting at the table where they can't read, don't know what they're doing, because they don't play with them that often. For us, we've been reading guys our entire lives, our boyfriends, our husbands, or what have you. So we actually have a little bit of a gut instinct that you should go with and trust and have fun at the poker tables and just go and try it out. Maybe read some books and maybe have a home game, play with your girlfriends, and just get a little bit more comfortable with it. But you shouldn't be scared at all.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lacey.
Thanks for having me.
Back to you, boys.
Thanks, Dana. Remember to go to Poker2Nite.com, Twitter.com/Poker2Nite, or our Facebook fan page, and let us know who you'd like to see featured on future Girls of Poker segments. When we come back, Jeff Madsen is going to bust some rhymes in studio and go on the clock right here on Poker2Nite.
Poker's biggest tournament, the World Series main event, is just around the corner, and UB.net wants to send 5 of our Poker2Nite viewers there to compete for a shot at poker immortality. To get in on the action, simply go to UB.net and sign up for a new account with the Poker2Nite referral code. You'll then receive an entry to one of our satellite tournaments for a chance to play in the main event final qualifier on June 6th. Finish in the top 5 of the final qualifier, and you'll be on your way to Vegas with UB.net picking up the tab. While there, you'll get access to all the UB.net parties and a personal training session with either Phil Hellmuth or Annie Duke. So head over to Poker2Nite.com now for all the details, and hopefully I'll be seeing you at the main event this summer.